Hey, have you ever wondered how long it's going to take you to move out of the beginner stage on the piano? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you my take on this question, especially if you're someone who wants to play the piano by ear or if you've had some training before. So before we dive into how long it should take to move beyond the beginner level, let's look at a list of essential skills every beginner should master. I have a graphic on the screen here. And so here's what you need to focus on. You need to focus on scales in every key. You need to be comfortable playing scales in all 12 keys. The reason an ear pianist learns scales is so they are familiar with what note should be flat or sharp in every key. And until this process is automated, beginners tend to struggle. So most teachers recommend that you memorize these. You also need to know your diatonic triads. These are the basic building blocks for most songs. Triads are 3-note chords, and every key has a set of triads that are distinct for that key that you need to learn. And triads are built from scales, but our focus is how long is it going to take you to master these. And don't worry, we're going to be telling you that in a bit. But let's look on down this list. You also need to know a few songs. Now, learning a few complete songs by ear is crucial. It will help you understand song structure. It'll help you see how chords work together. It helps you to recognize and understand musical patterns. But honestly, a lot of ear musicians actually do this already. It's the other things they neglect. And then, of course, there's inversions. Understanding how to play inversions will help you quickly play multiple versions of the same chord. But the real reason you learn inversions at the beginner level is to put the melody on the top. And what I mean by that, let me give you just a quick example. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. I'm in the key of C. And in the key of C, the word snow, we would play a C chord. Fleece was white as snow. But this chord, if I play it like this, it's incorrect because at the top of this chord is da. And the note I'm singing is snow, right? So even though the chord is correct, the note on top is wrong. So what inversions does is it teaches us that even if I'm playing this chord, I have to know what version of this chord I need to play at this note. So an inversion means that I would take this C and move it to the top. So fleece was white as snow. So this is the version of the C chord that I'm playing. I love that the word inversion includes the word version, because what version of the chord should you be playing at a note? So this is the real way you should be learning inversions and the reason why you learn inversions. And I also want to talk about basic ear training. This involves being able to recognize intervals and basic chord progressions. But I want to emphasize, everyone makes a big deal about perfect pitch. And that's not what you're learning when you're learning ear training. You're learning to recognize intervals and chords, which is different from perfect pitch. See my video on that, because proper ear training will help you quickly figure out melodies and harmonies when playing by ear. The way that we start at the beginner level is we say the right hand plays the melody and the left hand plays the chord. So understanding this concept is the way that we start if you are learning to play by ear. But the primary skill you are learning as an ear pianist is to learn to harmonize a melody with the right chord. There's nothing more important than this. Everything that we are learning leads to this. You can practice everything else, chords, scales, but if you miss this, you're going to feel lost when you are accompanying someone on the piano because you did not train your ear on what chord to use for a certain note. So these are the foundational skills that you need to build a solid base before moving on to more advanced concepts. So let's discuss how long this process should take. I want to give you a good time recommendation on how long it's going to take you to move out the beginner level on the piano. However, there are many things that are going to impact how long it will take you to move out the beginner level. So let's discuss those now. So if you had any prior music exposure, this is going to help you in terms of how long it's going to take you to move out the beginner level on the piano. This means that if you had one parent that played the piano in the home, or you may have had a brother, sister, uncle, cousin, anybody you routinely saw playing around you. This could include if you've observed or attended musical rehearsals. This could be school, church, or you may have played another instrument, or you would sing with singers or sing with choirs, because believe it or not, singing develops the ear more than playing. Maybe I'll do a video on that one time. But if you were around, influenced by, or had any kind of exposure to high quality music, all of these can affect the length and can shorten the time that you need to move out of the beginner level. The other thing that could affect the length of time that it would take you to move out of the beginner level on the piano is if you've had any previous piano or musical experience. So this means that if you've touched the piano before, even if you weren't formally taught, you're already one step ahead. You have some muscle memory there, even if you didn't continue with your training. So this means any type of piano lessons, yes, YouTube still counts. Private teachers, school only, everything counts, especially if you know where the notes on the piano are, or you can already play songs on the piano, right? That said, you can have experience on the piano and still be a beginner, because on my system, unless you know your triads in every key, scales in every key, you are technically classified as a beginner still, but it will still shorten the time it takes for you to move out the beginner level. The other thing that will affect how long it's going to take you to move out the beginner level is your own motivation and your practice habits. So this is the big one, right? Because let's be real, consistent practice is key. And I recommend at the beginner stage, 30 minutes, 3 times a week. If you can push to 4 times, that's even better. The consistency of your practice will make the difference between feeling stuck and actually seeing progress. The other thing that can affect how long it's going to take you to move out the beginner level on the piano is your work-life schedule. So a lot of you did better when you were younger, and it wasn't because of your age. It's because you had less to do. I know a lot of us are juggling work, family, and other responsibilities. You may have recently gotten married, and your new wife wants you to fly around the world, or she wants you to talk to random strangers or who are driving, pickup trucks. Or just normal duties, like, say, driving your family to the airport and you don't have enough space in your car and you gotta drive them around and cram everybody in with the luggage. Whatever your work schedule balance is, no one has a perfect balance, but they all affect the timeline. So let's look at a summary graphic here. So this is the standard answer I got when I put in the skills above in ChatGPT with a moderate schedule of someone practicing about 3 to 4 days a week, roughly 30 minutes each section. And it would take about 108 to 144 hours total to move out of the beginner level. This would be approximately 1 to 1.5 years of steady practice at this rate to move out the beginner level. But I should also mention, I've seen hungry musicians move out of this phase in months. And like I said, it really just depends on the factors above and how consistent and dedicated you are. But I did want to give you, based on my experience, what I've observed and the list I have above, what an average could be to move out of this stage. Hey, so to help you stay on track, I put together a recommended timeline chart that shows you exactly what to focus on as a beginner. Download it for free. Just click the link in the description. But remember, there's no rush. You got to enjoy every step of the process. Also, if you're ready to dive deeper, make sure to join my website where I show you all the steps you need to move from beginner to the next level. You'll find detailed lessons on all the skills I mentioned, personalized guidance, and a community of musicians just like you dedicated to mastering the piano by ear. Just remember to pace yourself, give yourself time. Remember that time will pass by quickly. All right, thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on playing the piano by ear. See you guys later.